gotta understand, like a guy like Jason Quigley, right? He got stopped twice, you know. So he was going in there not trying to get stopped again. He was the best. I hit him with the one of the biggest right hands ever. He jumped up, and he finished that 12th round. So he was definitely in there. He wasn't going in there trying to take a knee or trying to cop out. You know, I should have let my hands go more. I know coach was like, yo, listen, like throw your fucking punches, and that's what sparked me in the 12th round was like, let your fucking hands go, man. And once I started letting them fly, you see what was the results.
Why are you so anxious to fight Munguia next, man?
I feel like that's the biggest fight right now. I want him in October, in the big house, uh, Madison Square Garden. I know that that's a fight that everybody wants to see. We definitely want Munguia next for sure, for sure. I want that motherfucker. He's Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican. I got the man here, one of the best promoter in the business right now, man. So, I know he's gonna make it happen for us.
Real quick, you said I'm right here. I asked you one word to describe your opponent at the press conference, and you called him a clown because you said he's been laughing at you, he's been smirking, he's not been taking him really seriously when you were talking to him. Did he surprise you at all tonight with how much he had and how he came at you? Because you said you were just gonna walk through him and just toss him around, and beat the shit out of him. Is what you said.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, he's a fighter. I seen him in the back after the fight, and I told him, "You a warrior." I know he's a warrior. He got that Irish blood in him. Like I said, a lot of fighters, man, y'all, everybody that since the amateurs, like they always fought me different. They always had that spark in them to want to beat me. They could have fucking got knocked out their last two fights, and then when they step in with me, it's like a switch. So I take my hat off to him. He's a warrior. He definitely did some numbers here, man. So I seen him in the back. I congratulated him. And I told him thank you for taking the fight, but he's definitely a warrior.
I mean, look, I think we had a great start tonight. He hasn't boxed for over a year, and this place was completely sold out. The atmosphere was tremendous. Jaime Munguia brings a big crowd as well. Like Edgar said, I'd love to do it in the main room here. I think it can fill it up. It also fills up probably Vegas, LA, but I think it's a conversation with the zone. They love the fight. Everybody loves the fight. There's other options. I think Gennady Golovkin, also in the big room, is a tremendous fight. You've got Billy Joe Saunders from the UK, but he needs probably a comeback fight first. There's loads of fights. John Ryder, but I think the fights that fill the big room are Munguia and Gennady Golovkin.
So I got a question for both Edgar and Eddie. There's obviously a desire to go to a bigger venue. You did sell this out. It was very impressive. Fan atmosphere is incredible. Have you thought, Eddie, about ever doing something at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens? It's a beautiful outdoor stadium, seats over 20,000. Edgar, if you went out there, you'd be the first person to fight at that venue. They've hosted professional wrestling concerts in addition to tennis. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, we always like to push the boundaries and do something different. In the past, I've been on to Flushing Meadows as well about doing something there, just something different. We've done it a lot in the UK. I do want Edgar to fight in Puerto Rico as well, and I think if we didn't land the Munguia fight or something like that, maybe that's something we do next as something a little bit different. But I also want to keep the momentum of what we started tonight.
And just in terms of the British perspective of the fighters you mentioned he'd like to fight next, how tough do you feel those fights are with Ryder and Billy Joe Saunders for Edgar?
I think Billy Joe Saunders isn't going to be ready this side of the year for Edgar Berlanga, but I think he would be a great fight. He's a big name. John Ryder's a very tough fight. You saw him go 12 with Canelo Alvarez. So I think there's loads of fights that can be made. Loads of fights that could be made. You got Caleb Plant. You got obviously Benavidez. You got Morrell. You got Charlie. You got loads of super middleweights. That's the other side of the street, if that's what you want to call it. But we don't care really. We're doing our own thing, and I know that DAZN will be very keen on Munguia against Berlanga. Munguia does great numbers, so does Edgar. So it's just a tremendous fight.
Edgar, do you feel those two fights, Saunders and Ryder, are tough for you?
Say it again.
Do you feel those two fights, Saunders and Ryder, are tough for you?
They're great fighters. You know what I'm saying? So I know, and I know for a fact, like at that level, right? They're gonna come to fight. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Triple G's is gonna stay. They're gonna come to fight. The Riders, they're gonna come to fight. You seen him fight 12 rounds with Canelo, and that's the biggest guy at 168 right now. Munguia is another guy. You know, he just had a tremendous fight with my brother Sergey. But right now, for real, I just feel like the biggest fight right now is Munguia. You know, just for the simple fact that he's Mexican, he's young, he's my age. You know, we both do numbers. And I know for a fact we could do a crazy number out here in New York at the Garden. So, you know, I gotta, you know, we sit down with Keith Conley, my dad, and the boss man here, and you know, we just make it happen.
Oscar De La Hoya works for DAZN. So he's a fucking complete idiot, to be honest with you, because his job is to put on good fights for DAZN. And he hasn't really done that with Jaime Munguia, has he? I mean, it's probably the worst managed career I've ever seen in the history of boxing, Jaime Munguia. His opponent list has been awful, other than Derevenchenko recently, who I know he's your friend, but he's also a faded fighter. So what I'll do with Oscar De La Hoya is I'll speak to his bosses and I'll come back to him.
Oscar gotta, you know, he gotta shut his mouth, man. You know, this is the best in the business. People don't understand, like, Eddie came from the UK. From the UK, he came from another side of the fucking world and came to the US and took over. You know what I'm saying? And he's taking it over so rapidly. So, you know, De La Hoya is a crazy guy, man. He talks one day he's your friend, the next day he want to talk shit about you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously you seen what happened with Canelo. Yeah, we was talking Canelo, but you seen what happened with Canelo. He signed a 3-fight deal with PBC. So, you know, he's on another network now. You know, so now it's like, all right, you know, what the fuck we gonna do? So we got guys like Munguia, guys like Golovkin, guys like John Ryder that we can make happen quickly. Yeah, man. Like, come on, I had to sit down with him right before, you know what I'm saying, I signed with Eddie. You know, he's a guy, he just Twitter finger, man. You know, he just wanna just type with his ass off. So just chill, man, relax. I'm just blessed, man, and I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I got closer with God, you know, and I just want to thank him for just, you know, keeping me grounded. I want to thank my fans, you know. Without them, this wouldn't be happening, you know what I'm saying? So fighters gotta understand that you gotta give the fans the credit, man, because they the ones that's working their ass off to buy these tickets, you know, bringing a family, you know, probably taking off days off work, you know, flying in, paying for flights. So, you know, without the fans, none of this will happen, you know. So all the credit, man, like not all the credit, but like most of the credit goes to the fans, right or wrong, Eddie? You know, without that, man, this shit wouldn't be nothing, you know. So I'm just happy, man, to be a year back. You know, not a lot of people could do that, and you know, we did another sellout.
Right, last question, guys.
Edgar, you're looked at as probably you're not even a prospect anymore, but the best Puerto Rican fighter out there. Is there any pressure carrying that mantle? You know, Cotto, Trinidad, Benitez.
I think it's just the pressure of just you know, delivering for my people. You know, it's a tough stretch for me because I caught my first 16 fights, first round knockouts. You know, and then I went the distance. So, you know, it's a little tough for me right now because, you know, people's expecting something, you know, a KO or a knockout or a TKO, and you know, and my Puerto Rican people, you know, and from New York, you know, they expecting that. But listen, man, I'm just excited to be here, you know, under the promotion. You know, we got the victory. That's all that matters. You know, we ended the fight amazing, and you know, I just got to pick off from that.
Yeah, with Triple G is a much bigger name, but it's just whether he fights again. He punches harder. I think he's a better fighter. It's just he's an older fighter. I think he's not a prime Triple G anymore, but he's still a tremendous fighter. I